Good morning from the high road. I'm glad you could make it. As you can see, we're here at High Road Outpost in the creek. Today we're going to be working right here. Mama Nature's given us a beautiful day here in late January. Let me show you what we're going to be doing. I had a little bit of daylight yesterday when I got home from work. It was Friday. So I went ahead and jumped in the creek, swung the metal detector a little bit, and when I did, I hit a really interesting target. It was this rock. Now, it's a very hot rock, and by that I mean when the gold monster hit on it, it actually gave the overload signal, which normally you only get that signal when you run over a piece of rebar or some like really thick steel. So that's a seriously heavy and seriously ferrous piece of rock. And then I noticed this iron pipe, which was basically just underneath that big stone, right there. So a big heavy rock that's like mostly iron, plus a piece of iron coming to rest in this spot in the creek, which is not really a spot that I normally would have focused on. It's not really necessarily an inside bend, and I couldn't really see any features that would make me think that it would be a drop zone. But I kept looking around and I noticed this. So while most of the bedrock here in the creek at the outpost is decomposed granite, I noticed this patch here, which looks like slate, rhyolite, something like slate, that is right here in the area where this big old heavy piece of iron was located. And I noticed that it seems to be slanting slightly away toward the bank. So I dug a little test pan and I got one piece of gold, not much, but a little tiny piece. So that sloping piece of slate that you can see there seems to be going down where it probably is coming into contact with the bank, which is that decomposed granite, which you see there, which means that somewhere down in the middle, there should probably be a seam or a contact zone where there's two kinds of rocks come together. That would be a low point where maybe there's some gold. So we're gonna do some hard digging and hopefully find that seam. And while we're at it, maybe we'll find some gold too. Let's dig. So that's the project area pretty well cleared off. Most of the heavier gravel. I'm not going to try to dig the bank away. I'll try to protect the bank if I can. I don't want to lose property, send it down the creek. So one thing I am going to do that some people are probably going to disagree with is I'm going to classify the material that I dig. Now, some people might be thinking, what are you classifying for? You got the high banker right there. Why bother? Well, the reason is because the Minimax isn't really a high banker in the explicit sense. It's like a mini high banker. It's pumping about 1,100 gallons, and it doesn't really clear stuff off the grizzlies as well as I would like. So in order to keep myself doing one task at a time, I'm gonna shovel into some tubs, and I'm gonna classify as I go into the tubs, and then when the tubs are full, that's when I'm gonna switch on the Minimax and feed everything through. I got the battery hooked up, and I even have the solar panel keeping the charge as we run. This battery's been in my shed pretty much since, I don't know, about August or so. So as I mentioned, that battery has been sitting for a while, so I don't know how much I can really rely on it. While I am supplying it with the solar panel, it's only a 30-watt solar panel, so it's really more just like helping it out a little bit. It's not really charging it. I would rather just shovel, and then feed the Minimax and clear as I go, and maximize my battery time while I do it. If you disagree with me, fine. Put some comments in the comments below and tell me how dumb I am. I'm cool with that. Anyway, here we go. Let's get to work. I'd never really noticed this spot in the creek before. It's toward the top part of the property. And being that it's so narrow and straight, I never really focused on it. sort of establishing a little bit of a line, what I want to dig versus what I do not want to dig. Yeah, that's that white stuff. That's that. Tell you what, it's so mineralized though. I mean, it's so rusty. I hope that's a good sign, you know? I don't know. Hope everybody had a nice Christmas. I know I did. Saw a little bit of a footage of it in my last video. I was overseas. I got a nice pair of gloves, prospecting gloves from my mother-in-law. My daughter got me these neoprene gloves that I was wearing a minute ago. It's not that cold today though, you know? Not feeling like I need them. I've gone through quite a few pair of neoprene gloves. They keep your fingers nice and warm. But the rocks tear them up. They're good for surfers, scuba divers. They're not good for people who are digging. Let me show you guys something real quick. This is the clay I've talked about. This is the granite. This is what happens when granite decomposes. First it gets gritty and then it turns into this. And so a lot of the bedrock around here is this. So when I run into that slate, I know something different's going on. So that I'm thinking that seam's got to be right in there somewhere. We'll keep looking. Do want to send a quick shout out. Actually, two quick shout outs. I got a comment a couple days ago from Bennett, Bedrock Bennett. Somebody who I've seen in quite a few videos, especially all of 2020 when I was still living in Europe and on lockdown. Watched quite a few of the California Motherlode prospecting videos featuring Bennett. Glad to see him pop up. Glad that you've tuned in, buddy. I appreciate your comment. And I sure would like to see some more from California Motherlode prospecting. That's one of my favorite channels. If you're not familiar with that one, I'm going to provide a link in the description. That is an excellent channel. Prospector Jerry, Mountain Mike, who interestingly I ran into on a roadblock out in front of the house earlier this year. Road was blocked for construction. He popped out of his car in front of me. I was like, hey, I recognize you. Other shout out I want to give is to one of my newest subscribers and one of my newest subscriptions. I subscribed to his channel too. Chris Zanetti. Man's Thailand gold prospecting. Sorry, I'm not remembering the name of your channel right this second. The man's out there by himself, just like me, out in the jungles of Thailand looking for gold. I respect his work ethic, and I wish him the best. Link to him in the description as well. So we're getting kind of close to where I think the seam is now. I'm gonna let this water clear out a little bit and see how it looks. I know I got to get this edge here, got to get it you know, right up here. But like I said before, I don't want to dig the bank away because I don't want to send my property downstream. But so I'm gonna let this clear out a little bit, and then we'll take a look, see how it looks. These are cool. Found a couple of these. And this one looks like pottery. I'm not convinced that it's not pottery. I guess it's quartz. It's more opaque than quartz normally is, but I guess it's quartz. That's full. So I'm done with this one. Now I'm going to fill the other tub over there. Yeah, I'm feeling that slate. This big chunk of slate's ending right about there. And then it's real soft digging. Not real soft, but yeah, it's definitely going in. It's not hitting rock. So I think I'm scraping the clay. Which gold may be on the clay, but it's not in it. So I don't want to dig up too much of it. It's not helpful. Yeah, I'm getting it. That's that mineralized clay. Look at that. How rusty that is. I'm going to stop digging with the shovel. And what we'll do is, since we're down to the clay here in front of that block of slate, we'll run all this material that we have now through the Minimax. And then if we like what we see when we clean up the Minimax, then maybe we'll come through with the hand suction and suck all this stuff off this very bottom or the top layer of the clay. Well, I was just saying before my gimbal battery died that the reason I like to classify before I feed the Minimax is that I just don't feel it clears off very well. It's not to say that I don't like this machine, I do. It's nice for this kind of thing, what we're doing today, and it's battery operated, so it's nice and quiet. And if you don't have a really good spot to put a sluice without digging a lot of rocks, it's great. This is a little modification here that I've made to the Minimax. I find that it helps it flow a little more evenly. Holds up clay and roots and stuff like that. Cleans them off a little bit better. Sun is fading through the trees. It's about 4 o'clock right now. We finished that tub there, and now we're working on this one, and I'm hoping that we can get through it in enough time to get it cleaned out and panned out and be able to see before the sun goes down. But if not, it's not gonna make any difference to you, because it's gonna be the same amount of minutes from now. We are really racing with the last of the light. We got down to the last of the second bin. All right. Now we got to use the last of this light to clean this thing up. Oh yeah, a lot of black sand built up in there. And solar panels can be unplugged too, because that's pretty much done. The hand classifies some of those big ones out of there. Well, you guys, the failing light is what it is, but I'm gonna wash this back. It's probably gonna have to be the morning before we really get a good look. Yeah. Not bad at all. So yeah, that right there is the hole we dug today. What I thought was going to be a seam of one kind of bedrock against another is actually just a big fat piece of slate right here in the bottom of this creek, which is otherwise decomposed granite. I'm not sure if it's enough to weigh, but anyway, we'll take another look when we have better light in the morning, which probably will just be moments from now for you. Good morning from the high road. No, we don't need to do two intros, same video. Anyway, good morning. Yesterday, we excavated this slab of slate, which I had initially suspected ran all the way into the decomposed granite. I have since discovered that it doesn't run there. It actually drops off a little bit of a lip. So it's just a big hunk of slate. It's not really bedrock. We got some pretty good results from yesterday's running of the Minimax. And so today what I want to do is I just kind of want to clean up the hole that we made. I'm wondering how much of the gold we got yesterday was from down in the bottom of that hole versus how much of it was just up on top that sort of fell into the hole. So let's get to work. This is not an efficient use of time. I know that. If I were in a high production mining operation, I would not bother with such things. But I am not in a high production mining operation. I am in my backyard trying to learn about this creek. So I'm going really gently, trying to skim what I can off the bottom. So let that clear up a minute, see how it looks. As you can see, I've replaced the bucket with a pan because I don't think we're going to have enough material to justify having a classified bucket. So I'm just leaving the pan there. Now I'm going to keep doing what I was doing. Nice and gentle. Just get the bottom of the hole. Stirring up as minimally as possible. That's nice. Can just skip using the suction pump altogether if we can do a really nice clean excavation of this hole. Have it just be bare white clay on the bottom. That will be job done. You can see. So I'm just gonna suck out maybe 1 jar's worth with the hand suction pump here. One jar worth just from that spot right there, and I'll pan that separately. That's what I'll do. Let's see what we can see here. So yeah, some nice little pieces. There's some that's still covered up by that black sand. I smushed it up there with my finger so you could get them in one shot. That's as full as we should do this bucket. I could get probably one more classifier in there, but then the bucket's gonna be too heavy. It's already pretty damn heavy. Speaking of which, you guys, I'd really like to be able to show the process of running this material through the drop rifle sluice. But my gimbal camera, the camera that's on my tripod, is being sensitive. I probably got it a little too wet. First impressions are, I gotta say, this drop rifle sluice is pretty cool. Setup super easy. It runs material really quick, even with water just barely flowing. I throw a full scoop on there. It clears quick, and the riffles work really well. I'm impressed. And it sets up so quick. It's taking 25 minutes, to get those 2 buckets in. And this drop rifle sluice has cleaned itself up pretty well. So now the real selling point for the drop rifle sluice is the ease of cleanup. So here's how that works. The pan's waiting here. There it goes. That is a pretty quick cleanup, I gotta say. 2 buckets worth of material. And for the cleanup to be, for the cons to be that minimal, there's not much in that pan. Hopefully it's not because I blew a bunch of fine gold out. But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty impressive cleanup. Let's pan it back. From the drop rifle. So that is the little bench material, the 2 buckets worth of sort of bench material. Not bad, and it did get fines too. So I can't say the drop rifle doesn't pick up the fines. It definitely does. But that's pretty good. And for how quick it cleaned up and set up and ran, yeah, man, I'm a fan of the drop rifle. Well, that's it, guys. And here is our gold for yesterday and today, and our lead. I hope you enjoyed following along with me as much as I enjoyed having you. If you liked this video and you haven't already done so, I sure would appreciate your subscription. Also, you hitting the like button and sharing, let other people know you enjoyed it. Heck, even if you didn't like this video all that much, but maybe you think it's possible I could do better, go ahead and subscribe anyway. I appreciate all your comments. I appreciate your tips. I even appreciate it when you say, hey, you're doing it wrong. If you have any specific suggestions or anything you'd like to see me do in the future, please leave me a comment and let me know. But I do appreciate you hanging out with me and being my digging partner for the past day and a half. Hope to catch you on the next episode of High Road Prospecting. Until then, I'm Gaetano. See you later.